I'm Bobby Jackson.
And welcome to another episode of To Hell and Back. Today we're honored to have Emily Brandt with us, and we'll just let Emily take a moment to introduce herself.
Thank you, ladies. My name is Emily Brandt. I'm honored to be here, and I've gotten to know these two. Tracy a little bit more briefly, but Bobby I feel so connected to. So either way, if I didn't know them or not, it's a privilege and honor to be here and to be able to share my story in a very comfortable, safe setting.
I love that. And this is all about ordinary people living transformed lives. So, we talk to our friends and families and people that we just meet, and when we find a story we think is worth sharing, someone who's overcome and come out the other side of it, I find that very inspirational and always gives me hope. And I love that. So that's kind of what we want to do today, and have Emily tell a little bit of her story for people to hear. So, do you want anything to add, Tracy?
Yeah, I agree with Bobby. It's just when people share stories, it does create and stir hope in others, especially as you relate to, maybe something Emily will say today, or, just a portion of her story can bring such, you already said it, Bobby, like inspiration, and sometimes, we get stuck thinking, I think a big thing is we get stuck thinking we're the only one, we're alone in this, but to hear that somebody else has been through it and has overcome or has healed through that experience can be really, really sometimes a pivotal moment in somebody's life.
Yeah, totally agree. So I guess, where would you like to start, my dear?
I guess by acknowledging you guys saying that it's like a more inspirational, whereas I'm thinking, I don't know if it's really that much of a story. Like it's just who, I don't know. I don't really see it as so I guess thank you for viewing it that way.
I do, yeah.
I wouldn't categorize it that way, but maybe that's because I have to function that way, or maybe I need to embrace that and honor myself that maybe it is transformative or inspiring. I didn't really see myself as a trendsetter of any way. It's just like figure everyone has a story.
Yeah. But not everyone is willing to come forward and share their story, and I think that's because they're still healing, maybe. And it's hard when you're still healing to come forward with your story.
Yeah, and then on top of that, once you get to the point of healed, I mean, it's never, it's forever.
You're healing for the whole life.
For the whole time we're here.
Yes.
Eyes open, eyes closed. We're still healing. It doesn't matter. But when I, to this point where I'm looking back at it, I'm like, oh yeah, that is a part of how I came to be here. So I don't really acknowledge it as much. Mm-hmm. Not in a way of like an avoidance, because I can see where that would be viewed as like, oh, you don't talk about it because it's not an avoidance. Mm-hmm. It is, oh, that is a chapter that's closed in my life, and I honor it, and that is how I came to be where I am now. So that's where I am now with sharing my story. It's like, oh, I have to open that chapter back up, and that is part of how I got here. But I don't really think about it too often because I have to deal with every day, stuff, shadow work. Also a forever healing journey.
It is,
yeah. I think that's an important distinction you make. Like, just because you don't talk about it every day, and why would you really? But it doesn't mean that you're avoiding it. But really, it's not in the presence. It's not who you are at this moment. It formed who you are in this moment, but it's not something that you're defined by. Right now, and I like that actually. So
I do too. So, do you want to start with childhood, or do you want to start with lessons that you've learned that have gotten you where you're at today?
I guess I would start with childhood.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of like the first memory. I mean, the first memory I have, I don't know if you guys remember your first memory, but my first memory, I wanted to help my mom bring in the milk from outside. This is back when it was like still in a glass jar.
Oh my God.
Like delivery.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was maybe 4 years old, and I dropped it before I got to the house, and I was screamed at. It was just like really that was my very first memory. That's not really traumatic. Like it can stick with a person as a first memory, but at the age of 5 is when, pardon me. Oh, look at that throat chakra being all embracing it.
We can do this.
We can do this. You're okay. Safe space.
Yes.
Is when I would say it turned darker, and it went from like child molestation within, obviously with my family, so sexual abuse, and when I turned to that one person that you're supposed to, like you're protect your mother, this would be your instinctual protector person, to help out, even as an infant they cry, the mom feeds, like, and it was not that way, and so it started with being very pushed off that I was lying. I don't know why a 5-year-old would lie about that, or even think of the concept of the things that I endured as a 5-year-old. And I was very specific on, this is what happened, and I was told I was basically a liar because that was just tickling. I was very hush-hush, very under the rug, never got addressed, never had an apology, an explanation. Now I know, like, we're curious, we're, it's, and I'm not upset to the point with that, enduring that. It was more going to my mom for help, and just not being heard at all.
Right.
And then I couldn't trust the one person who was supposed to be like, this isn't right, you are sovereign, you are empowered. Like, and I can't really tell a 5-year-old girl that. And you could, but like, it's not gonna stick. And not addressing that type of trauma, that is years in therapy. Because even if the kid turns out like, oh no, I'm fine, like nothing happened, or like I'm okay, it's not okay. It sticks in there for a long time, and it wasn't even the first time that it wasn't a one and done. And this was my sanctuary, my home, and even being left alone with family members like this, I would always try to escape. I couldn't talk to, how am I going to even say it's happening and this is happening when I tried. And then it
try again.
Yeah, why bother? Maybe this is just what is supposed to happen. I don't know. I deserve it. You just get all these feelings built on a very small person, and then it just escalated. And it's almost like, because I didn't have that formative moment with my mother or any strong woman figure to be like, that is not okay. This is your body. This is their body. I don't think they knew how to navigate it. And I understand that. It's not like, they came into this world thinking like, I'm gonna really mess up Emily. Like, they just didn't have the tools. And sometimes tools become available when something really elaborate gets broken, and you gotta like dig deeper, outsource to find a better tool. And that's part of not just the hero journey, but being the black sheep.
Yeah, you talked about that in our pre-interview about being the black sheep.
Yeah, which I think we're gonna touch on. I guess a question I have for you, being that you didn't have that support from your mother, and being able to go to her and have your voice heard and your experience believed, and then I guess really gaslighted and told that you were just tickled. What kind of coping strategies do you think, even as a young child, that you developed at that time to deal with it?
Masking, big time masking, and then that's also how most empaths, not all, some are just born with it, but that's how they kind of integrate their skill of being an empath, because empath is tenfold. Like, it's a blessing and a curse. I can feel emotions. I'd have to be able to keep that part of my subconscious open, to have this radar to understand whose frequency, who's vibrating at a level I can be comfortable around, or I can trust or feel safe around. And then when I'm around that person, then I can just kind of double up to how they're kind of like living life. I don't realize it then that that's what I was doing, but now like
Right.
retrospectively looking back, it was just figuring out my empathy skills, who I could be around, and then with having that skill set, I would know how to make people happy. Because most internal everyone's fear, worry, sadness, fear, worry, grief, and grief is the one like I'm very strong with, because what's the opposite on paper? What's the opposite of grief? Maybe humor or laughter, or like just like have like light. And I can make very charming. I can just very, very entertaining. So that masking led me to be a very good entertainer. And I think at the age of 9, I said, Mom, look what I can do. Just like this. And I just started sobbing unconditionally. Like, I mean, just emotionally. And she said, I could never trust you. And I'm like, what? What do you mean? I'm like, no, this is what I can do. Like, I can act.
You thought it was a great thing.
I did think.
Yeah.
I did think it was a great thing. Like, how cool is this? Like, is this what everyone can do? Look what I can do, Mom. Like type thing.
Yeah.
I thought it was something to show off. Like, but it was from my trauma. I formed this ability to mask and transform my surroundings, and I turned it into entertainment. And later on in life, I got into drama, and I did bring out like the emotions and like the tears within acting. But
So you did professional acting.
I did. I was very much involved with theater.
Oh.
Many
didn't know that.
awards.
I didn't know that.
Wow.
That's
I
exciting.
didn't know that.
I was a theater nerd, you guys.
Wow.
We are in the presence of a theater.
Welcome.
I love that.
But you took what you were dealing with and you put it into something constructive.
Yeah.
In the theater.
Yeah, I didn't sit with it. But I didn't know I was utilizing like
Right at the
that
time.
that
you didn't
skill.
realize that.
And that kind of went down a different path, because you can only do that for so long. It can only satisfy so much. It can only scratch that itch to a certain level. And then I started going down a very rough road of self-medicating any way that I could.
So what roughly, like what age was that when?
I'd probably say maybe 11 is when I would start drinking like a bottle of NyQuil a week, so I could sleep at night.
Okay.
And I did, again, try to like inform my mom, like, I can't sleep at night. How freaking could I if I didn't even feel safe?
Right.
Right.
I mean, I didn't know that. I just thought I had insomnia. And they did try natural remedies. I remember they had lavender oil, and they started out in the back of the neck. And then and I'm like, it's not working. And then they go here. I'm like, that's not working. And then went here, and that didn't work. And then here, and eventually right under my nose. Like every single night we would try something, and it did not work. So it was all like just over the counter Benadryl and NyQuil.
Okay.
They didn't even realize I was just blowing through it all, because there's other kids in the family.
Like everyone's sick all the time.
Yeah. It's easy if they're in survival mode and
Yes.
they're not dealing with their own shit. Pardon my French. I get it.
They're dealing with theirs, so they're not paying as much of attention to
All
all
of
of
the
the
things.
things that the kids are doing. Right.
Right.
And then once that wasn't scratching the itch, I went even further, and there was even a point where, I'm not sure what age, but definitely teenager, I just took a whole bottle of my father's prescription. I ended up getting my stomach pumped.
Wow.
I had to go in, and this might really mind knowing me a little bit. When I woke up, after my stomach being pumped, I was in St. Mary's Hospital, and I just remember waking up and seeing a cross, and I said, where am I? And they said, we're here in St. Mary's Hospital, because this is a Catholic hospital? And then they're like, yeah, and I believe, Lord forgive me, angel spirits, all of ancestors, I think I spat at them.
Oh wow.
And I said, something, maybe I didn't, but I mean, in my memory, I was just appalled and disgusted. Like, how freaking dare you bring me to a place that has anything to do with God?
Oh my God. Were you raised religious?
Yeah, like
home?
Lutheran. So I
Okay.
would say like the blue jeans of religion. Very relaxed.
I was Lutheran and Protestant, so
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
a great foundation. And I went all the way through. I was confirmed. I did Sunday school. I ended up teaching Sunday school. Third grade boys. Like, I mean, I was very involved, and especially when it came to the Christmas pageant, because I could help direct, like help.
Oh, yeah,
you
that
know.
would have been up your alley.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I love that.
creativity.
Yeah, and then kids, because they're so
Oh.
pure, and there's angels, because they're not tainted yet. There shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be, right?
So, I'm gonna ask a hard question. When you took your dad's medicine meds, were you, consciously trying to end your life?
Yeah, many attempts.
Okay.
It's hard to, I had no like real coping mechanism. They brought me to a therapist once, and I kid you not, may I shake your hand? He shook my hand like this, and like, it was just so cold and callous, and I remember the very first, and I'll show you how it was like this.
Wow.
Why are we on the pity potty today? That was his phrase, like that's how he opened it, and it was,
wow.
first, why are you bringing me to a man? Like,
Right. That's part of the problem.
it's part of,
Yeah.
yes,
Wow.
or just not part of my solution,
Right.
Yeah.
and it didn't work. And I remember there were times where I was, I was crying out for help, and I was just like slicing up my arm in front of my dad, and that's, I don't know, it's kind of all jumbled. I think that was after maybe the pills.
Did your mom ever put together like cutting yourself and the attempts and things like that with what you had shared with her when you were young, or do you think she put that together, or?
I don't think she'd still put that together unless she's watching him.
Well, she might find out now.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh.
I had to watch the other one though.
Huh?
I had to watch the one.
Oh, was it?
Susie?
Oh, good. So, I'm not sure if you'll know, like, or if you want to answer, like, how many times did you try to end your life?
Probably seriously two. Two.
So, can you, again, if this is too sensitive, you don't have to answer anything, like the last time that you attempted that was serious or whatever, and you went, I need to keep going forward. Like, I hope that a bigger purpose in this life.
Oh, I don't know if I ever got to that
Gotcha.
till recently.
Or when you didn't want to end it, I guess.
I don't know if I didn't want to end it.
Okay.
I don't think until recently.
Okay.
I think it was just more like, how can I get through this?
Okay.
It wasn't like, how can I
Yeah.
thrive? It was just, it was
surviving.
Yeah.
How can you survive?
It was just survive.
That makes sense.
So then from that point, that was kind of your teenage years, then you talk about self-medicating, so how did that progress into your 20s?
Well, even before I got to the 20s, the self-medicating, like it just ascended with different types of self-medicating. And then if you're putting yourself, especially as a young woman before her 20s, I'm around different types of men, and I was 13 was my first sexual assault or rape, because I was put in a situation where I was trying just to get high. I was trying just to get some weed, and I wasn't really on. I look at now, I don't use, but weed is like a plant medicine. If it's honored respectfully, it can be very beneficial for certain uses. But at this time in my life, I was just in it to numb,
Right.
and that was at 13, and then again before I was even 20, it was I had another two more situations that led me down with like trying to get drugs, trying to numb, again just to survive.
Right.
Any way that I knew how. That was my coping mechanism. So it led me more to two more instances with two different men that took force and very abusive. That one led me to an abusive relationship with their dad, my children's dad.
Okay.
So then that hits 20, and still from 20 to 30 was just a lot of alcohol. I mean, a lot. I would say maybe, do you know what rumplemint is?
Yeah.
Isn't
I
that
do.
mint?
Yep.
Yeah, oh god, I
And-
had something else.
Yeah. It's 100 proof alcohol, I believe, or something like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, that would be,
The smell of this makes me nauseous.
that would be like a bottle every 2 days. So,
Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
so I was really thinking about energetically, like in the spiritual aspect. That's so, my aura field was very thin, and I had a lot of things coming in.
So that's the only way you knew how to handle it at that time.
Yeah, I would, which I don't even know how. I don't even know how I got here.
Well, we're glad you are, but
Yeah,
it's a
sometimes
blessing.
we look back and go, man, I can't believe I made it.
I cannot with that. Those years, 20 and 30. Oh my gosh. Even though like I wasn't trying to actively get like end my existence, how could I not view it as I was?
Yeah.
You were not knowing, unconsciously trying to.
Yes.
Yes.
You're right. I
I
absolutely
think
was.
that's, when people have addictions, they are unconsciously doing that because that's the only way they know how to cope. And
Yeah.
in the back of your mind, I think our higher selves, we realize what we might be doing to our bodies, but we don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because no one else showed interest in caring to help. And there was like the attempts with the lavender oil and like the couple therapy after my stomach didn't get pumped. I was put into a home
Okay.
for like a couple weeks maybe, like an inpatient, but it wasn't through like a local establishment. It was like a private thing. I couldn't even go to like a Bell and Psych Center. It was like a weirder outsourced private. It was because again very hush hush. There were no phone calls that I had my period. There was no announcement that Emily's having these problems or this happened to Emily. It was
Keep it.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
yeah, which makes sense why I went more towards theater to like be in the spotlight, to be seen or heard.
To be seen.
Yeah.
That does
That
make
makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense.
It really does. So what you're talking about then, is that the reason? I know you mentioned when we spoke to you before about feeling like the black sheep of the family. Is that why, or is there a greater dynamic to that?
Well, yeah, I very much rebelled as the black sheep, and I did not. Okay, well, I would say the main reason I'm a black sheep is because my mom always wanted a girl. Because I have brothers, and I'm the youngest. So she wanted that girl, and I just, how could I embrace my femininity if it was violated at a very young age and then continuously? Why the hell would I want to wear a dress or be on cheer?
Yeah.
Or wear makeup, or do my hair.
Or look really pretty and sexy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. And no, I will. There was one point I shaved my head. I did a 2007 Britney. I just took a buzzer, right? Because I was.
Did you really? Wow.
I absolutely did. It was sophomore in high school.
Okay.
I had that bleach blonde, long, beautiful hair, and I was, very active. So I was very fit, and I just the catcalling and the men and just. Always, I just felt so suffocated. And the only thing I had control of was like, they'd always start off with like, "Oh, your hair's so pretty," and that was your eyes. Your eyes are so pretty, and I was just like, "These are just parts of my meat suit. Like, who the frick are you? Like, stop looking at me. Here's a reason not to look at me." And I just took it right to the scalp, and that really good. She did not like that. My mom did. No.
So speaking of high school though, like, did you have any friends that you were able to trust to talk to about what you were going through, or did you kind of just keep it all to yourself?
I did open up to a few close friends, and you realize like the people that you energetically felt safe with, it was because they also had experienced some type of
Something going on.
yeah, like where control was taken away in a very significant in a sexual way. And so those were more people that I just instinctually knew that I could be safe around, and maybe 2 people I told in high school, and then like 2 boyfriends, I think I share, because they're gonna have to know like why I'm just now about wanting to be intimate, like
Yeah, for sure.
So, I know we're skipping around a little bit. When I think of something, I don't want to forget. So you talked about the one gentleman is how you got your two. How many? You have two girls, right?
Yeah.
Did you get married or?
No, but I was with him for almost 8 years.
Okay. Okay.
And that was very, very abusive. Don't want to go too much into how much the details on that part, just because I don't want my children to come across it and have different views.
Sure.
They are already well aware of the type of person that he was meant to be in his role in this world, and along with his anger and control and his violent tendencies and alcoholism. They've witnessed enough, and I don't think that sharing my story, if it ever got into light, I don't want them to see that part of it. But that was very abusive. I think the time where finally the wheel got squeaky enough where I'm like, this guy, I need some oil, because the squeaky wheel gets the oil. It took 8 police officers to take him down, to get him off me. Very, very, and very loud, and very deep voice, very aggressive,
Intimidating.
very, yeah. And so even to this day, when my children hear a man that has that same tone,
It just probably brings back those memories.
it's a huge trigger.
Yeah.
And they don't even know, they've experienced their own stuff, but, epigenetics, so, my genes are within,
Yes.
their body. So they get triggered subconsciously. So that was a very long time. I tried to make it work, but it just wasn't in the cards. Yeah, and it had,
It's not always in the cards.
yeah.
There's everything happens for a reason, and
I wanted better cards.
yeah.
New hand.
Yeah, new hand. Dealer, hit me. Yes.
So that went into your 30s. So what was the turning point, or the turning around point where you found, I guess, Reiki?
Yeah, my light.
Your light, and how did that whole process come about?
I was very sick. So with my empathy, it comes because it is so outrageously amplified, I feel. I can actually, what's called a physical empath. Have you heard of that term? Know of it?
Yep. Like when others around you have a cold or something, you start
You
developing
get
those
that.
symptoms too, because
Yes.
you empathize so
Yes.
so greatly with
Yeah,
them.
yes, literally my body with it, which helps with Reiki, so I don't know what area to go and work on.
Yeah.
But before I got to that point, who I was with, the guy I was dating for a very long time after their dad, had very repressed, is it anger with the kidney? Yeah, anger. Okay. And I went into kidney failure just from being around him.
Wow.
Just from physically being around him.
Yeah.
And once I got to the hospital, which my family never came to visit me, I'm in active kidney failure. I'm in the, once you're going into kidney failure, you have to be there. They don't just check you in and oh, you're good, you'll be fine, and get sent home.
Yeah.
You're there for a bit. So after, family saw me, and then I was away from him that I was dating, I was fine. I was, couple, not even a week, I was fine. I was like, what the heck? Why would my body do this? And then I went back home and I was around him again, and I was in so much physical pain I couldn't roll over on the couch, which means I certainly couldn't walk up the steps, which my activity with my children just plummeted. Because, if a person's not working on becoming better, I can't work on, it starts with that one person, but I was around someone who was not aware or wanted to change for the better. And then I'm like, okay, well, why am I always so sick? I remember my nephew asking me, don't you want to be better? Don't you want to be able to work? Because they'll label you with all these autoimmune things. You have lupus, you have fibromyalgia. I had this weird diagnosis. I don't even know how to say it, but it's an autoimmune disease of your bladder. Which is very painful, by the way. Healed it. But,
But they try to make you believe all that.
Yes, yeah. And labels, so even when people talk about, I have this physical symptom, and now I get information right away, I'm like, oh, it's actually this or this, because your body stores things that need to be processed. Can't tell someone unless they're ready to hear that, though. So that's a different story. But I was very sick for a very long time. Got to that point of like, what can change?
Yeah.
And I tried Reiki as a Hail Mary, but even before I got to that, I had a freaking cardinal I swear, Bobby, it was trying to commit suicide. It was flying into the window aggressively, so much to the point I was worried about this bird.
Wow.
And how can I make sure that it's not hurting itself? And I put up tin foil because I thought maybe the reflection would help the bird. I started Googling, like, why would this bird be trying to get into the window?
Was it like separate days or all in the same day?
Every single day.
Okay.
For months straight.
Oh my
And I have videos and I have pictures of this because I'm like, this is just weird. And the more I was like Googling, how can I make this stop? It was, you're seeing cardinals. It's the second spiritual. Someone's trying to get your attention or let you know that they're there, and like really just it wasn't pestering because it was like, but it was very real. And then that's when I'm like, okay, well, spirituality, looking for signs, angel signs, and cardinals, and this is my last attempt. That was my Hail Mary of like just throwing it, because it was either try something unknown, which I knew nothing about.
That's what I was going to ask. Like, did you have any spiritual background at this? I mean,
Nothing.
other than your Lutheran upbringing?
No.
Nothing.
Okay. At all. I didn't know anything about the woo.
How did you how did you find out about it, or did someone tell you about it? Did you go try or?
Well, besides like with the Googling, I reached out to my oldest daughter's godfather. Shout out to Greg Cunard, who, and he's like, don't you remember I tried Reiki on you a long time ago, and I don't know if he actually got certified. I think he had a session, and we were very young kids, maybe like 19 or something. And to me, that's still kids. We're all kids. And he did have me lay down, and going back into that memory, which I buried. But I remember feeling separated. I remember feeling like my upper half of my body wasn't connected to my lower half of my body. That's all I really remember. Okay. But I reached out to him. I was like, hey, what do you recommend for to go see a Reiki person? Because I wanted to reach out to someone I trusted. That could guide me, because it was kind of scary. I was very scared of it. In the first place I walked into, I wanted to run right back out. Like crystals and saves. Yeah. Not only like, what is this shit? But like there was a man behind the counter.
Oh.
And so like even with it, so it was double amplified, and I was on my own. And I knew nothing. I mean, I was completely exposed.
Vulnerable.
Yeah.
Not even knowing what's gonna happen, right?
Yeah.
Like what's this session gonna be like?
Yeah, is it witchcraft? Is it voodoo? Is it dark? And because my parents, like, I can't even say the word alien around my dad. Like, so spirituality, even in my very, very formative years with this, bringing it up to them, it was just blasphemy.
Oh, okay.
So even that makes you a little bit of a black sheep too.
Yeah, I got told, like, how dare you? I think he said, how dare you call yourself a master of anything? When I was so proud, and I'm like, look, I'm like, look at the lineage, and like, let me share this, like, really proud moment, and give you a little explanation, and it was, how dare I? Well, I freaking dared. I was a black sheep, and I owned it. I really had to lean into it and be okay with finding my God within, finding not only the divine masculine, but honoring my divine feminine. And it was a struggle bus to get there, but it got there.
Do they still? I don't want to lose track of where we're at, but to this day, do they still believe that it's
blasphemy?
Yeah.
My mom has very much opened up to it. I gave her a few sessions.
Okay.
And I tried with my dad very briefly in a garage just to give him Reiki on his lower back, which his man is like battling cancer or fought cancer or whatever. Like, Well, I want you to just be at that point, like, okay, my daughter, I trust her, and like,
Right.
I tell people all the time, the worst thing that will happen is you fall asleep. And that's
I sometimes I'm like, that's what your body needs.
yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
that's what happens. Like,
yeah, and that's honestly, I feel very honored when that
I do
happens.
too, because then they fully trust you. They're
Yes.
very vulnerable.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
the healing's still gonna go where it needs to go.
And that vulnerability, my first session I gave my mom when she came to afterwards, I was talking to her and she said, you know, as I was laying here, I thought to myself, oh, you know, if Emily wanted to kill me, she absolutely could right now. I'm like, what a weird concept.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks.
It's like, this is the absolute complete opposite of that.
Yeah.
Not only for you, my mother, but like for anyone that would lay upon this table, like that it's like that wouldn't even be a thought ever.
Sometimes our minds just go in weird directions.
Yeah, but I couldn't ever think about
Wow.
like that's what spoke to my mom. I think
Wow.
maybe subconsciously she realized like Emily could have done a lot of harm not only to herself but me, and she
Because
flipped
maybe
it.
she was remembering.
I think in a really weird way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that does. I had that thought too.
Yeah.
I don't think she knows that now to this day, but yes.
She watches this, she won't.
Who
Yeah.
knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So going back to your first Reiki
Yeah, the first
session, if you
Oh.
don't
And the
mind
crystal
picking up
story.
that story.
Oh gosh. Yeah, okay, so I walked to the shop. I knew no one. I was by myself. It was a man behind the counter. I almost ran back out. And then I just got information, like, do you have a brochure on like your prices? And even then I was very timid and I left. And I convinced my friend to be, this is such bad friendship, to be my guinea pig. And I said, look, I'll pay for a session if you go first, and then you can tell me how it is, like if it's safe. And I still apologize to this day that I didn't really throw her under the bus. I think like I felt inwardly, I trusted that this was the right place to be, and it was of complete healing. And I would never put someone intentionally in harm in that manner. So in my soul, I know that I was still doing good, but now I'm just like on the surface, what a weird friend to be like, try out this really weird thing we know nothing about with this man in a back room with, you know, that we
When
don't
you
know.
put it like that.
Yeah. I'm
That
sorry.
sounds a little creepy.
It does. It's like the unknown, and
Yeah.
like, especially she is like the same, not the same, but like so. We resonate on that frequency of being harmed,
Okay.
you know, from men.
Sure.
And when she came out, she's like, "It's fantastic. Get in there." And I went in.
Awesome.
Yeah, and it was just the experience with the first session. Halfway through, I did like my body sprung up. I could hardly walk when I walked in. Like, by the way, like I had these knots, which I'm still working on. But like I was like limping, and I could barely move my right foot to my left foot, my gas pedal and my brake pedal. Like it was that I had that much pain, my root chakras, so like my lower half of my body. And when I was done, I do remember skipping around the whole store. I was like,
Amazing.
but halfway through, I did that.
Incredible.
It was, and I just shot up halfway through. So before my feet even hit the floor, my body felt all that release of that physical pain it was storing.
Mm-hmm.
And I just shot up and I said, this is what I need to do with my life. This is what I need to do. Like, there's no question about it. And then when I even got off the table to feel my body even full more, I was like, oh, how do people not know about this?
Right.
Why
You
are we
wanted
not?
everyone to know.
We need to scream this from the rooftop, write it on the water tower, whatever we gotta do, everyone needs to know about it. And that's how I knew, like, that's what I was meant, like, we're all meant to do, but that's specifically, like, what I meant to do.
Yeah.
Part of the journey, anyways.
Wow.
But it, like, everyone kind of does those sessions and healing modalities in different ways, and there's different formats and different people doing them, and it's not always the right fit. Because my second session was not for me either, and was with the same person. But it did not go well.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that was still not for me, because I still, the service and being connected and the healing is still what I resonate with. But sometimes the people that are delivering it might not match, and I'm so sensitive and intuitive now from these experiences that I know how to navigate better.
Yeah.
And which led me to this gem of an angel right here.
Just
a lady.
Thank you.
Oh no, thank you for existing.
So you, and I think so you said like for the first like 32 years, you didn't know who you were.
Oh yeah, I know.
So was it at this moment when you had that experience and you said, this is what I need to do, and that's when that
Yep.
it all came full circle?
I mean, it snapped. It snapped. And the reason those 32 years I didn't know who I was is because I was masking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whoever I was around, I would just I'd take on them and like however I can make them happy. Because if then they're happy, I'm safe. And then at that age, that's what it was like that snap, where I'm like, this is it.
Yeah.
This is
It kind of you mean because like growing up, I always loved to make people laugh, and I still do. Like I just love to hear people laugh.
Yeah.
But it's also a mechanism. Like, well, if they're laughing, then it's okay. You know, like I don't
I'm
want you to be
safe.
sad. Yeah, I'm safe and they're happy.
Yes.
If they're in a bad mood, I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I relate to that so much too.
Yeah.
So what advice would you have for somebody who would say, I'm 40 and still don't know who I am or what, what my purpose is or, what I'm here for? Do you have any advice for somebody in those shoes?
Oh yeah, just like lean into the questions. And it's a very Socratical method of like why ask why, but if you just keep asking the questions, you'll get the answer.
Yeah.
Guarantee if you just ask it and sit with yourself, you will find it. But to get to that point where you even feel safe enough to calm yourself down to get to a meditative state, if you just ask those questions, you'll be guided. The universe will guide to wherever you need to go to get to that point of finding the God within. But in order, not always is it just boom, you get there. You're gonna have to try different.
Right?
Yeah, you gotta experience it all
a straight line.
Oh no.
No, it's like that.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
there's
is.
nothing
Sometimes you
linear.
get that fork in the road.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
But I would just say really lean into the questions because questions. If someone's not really fully embracing knowing thyself, and which will be changing forever, every day, every moment, every second, you have to be able to feel comfortable and safe enough to speak your truth. And if that's been repressed, even by like physically, I was strangled. Even just that concept of speaking my truth, I couldn't at all. But I could ask questions. I could, journaling.
Yeah, that was going to be my follow-up question was journaling. I know for myself, like when I didn't have a voice for so many years in my marriage, journaling was the way
You had your voice.
I had a voice. And did you do a lot of journaling at this time when you were asking questions? Would you suggest somebody? You didn't.
No, I went the opposite way. I'm like the opposite person. So even like when it rains and like old ladies are like, oh, my knees hurt, I get energized. I am out in the garden when it's raining. I'm like, I'm just the opposite. Journaling is very important, and I do incorporate it in my everyday life in the beginning of the day and the end, because it is very vital. But no, I did not, because I didn't feel safe enough to even verbalize it or have even a pen to like grab and like a notebook, like for me. There was a point where in my relationship I said no to going to a party. Like he wanted me to go to a party with him. I'm like, no, I want to stay home and meditate. And it was like this explosive thing that I couldn't even. It was a really big fight, and this was in my home where I didn't even want to be a part of where he was going outside the home.
Right.
So no, I couldn't. I didn't feel safe enough to even have a notebook to journal.
Oh wow.
It was just stuck in my head.
Was it, do you think looking back, was it that you were afraid he was going to read the journal and know your inner thoughts? And
I think I was afraid of my inner thoughts.
Okay.
I was afraid of facing, oh, this did happen to you. Oh, this was repressed. This family member and this family member and this family member all refused to help you. Everyone in your life didn't embody who you are. So I didn't put that on paper. I couldn't even adjust it in my head to like get to my heart chakra and out my hands on the paper. It was unfathomable to me.
Yeah.
It got there now.
Yeah.
Like, I have to look at myself in the morning every day before I leave the house and tell myself in my eyes, I am confident, I am safe, I am whole, I am worthy. And I repeat it for 90 seconds. But this is like little things you gotta do to be able
Affirm your,
Just to ground in it. So, for these family members that are you in contact with them at this point? Like, are you,
Yeah, I am. But I did realize very recently that cord cutting is necessary for the rest of my life. Every day. Every day I have to do it now with certain family members. And especially if I talk to them or their name gets brought up or anything, because that cord roots are so regrow. And even though I claim sovereignty and I'm on my healing journey, if they're not, clearly they're not yet, if they're around any type of attachments or lower energy vibrations, demons, whatever you call it, that can actually not only go into them, their soul, but out their ethereal cord straight to me because I'm connected to them. So I have to cord cut religiously daily now. I recently found that out.
So maybe for those who are listening and don't know what that means or what you're talking about, I think Bobby and I do, but for those who don't, can you explain what that is and what process you use to do that?
Yeah, and I wasn't sure if I should even bring it up too, because I'm like, I don't know what people know.
Well, explain it.
I think there might be some people who don't. So
Yeah, because there was once upon a time I didn't know what it was. So
You're like, well, is it a physical
is
cord?
it a physical cord?
Right.
So I always like to start out with the same phrase, like in an infinite world of possibilities, if you could imagine this cord, this is the etheric cord in the ether, from your belly button connected to especially your parents. That was my first cord cutting, was with my mother. It's coming full circle, guys. I'm just acknowledging that.
Yes.
I was scared too, because I was like, when I did my first cord cutting, reaching out to someone very well known with the process of it, I thought it was going to cut off my relationship with my mom completely, and I'm like, no, I don't want to do that.
You're not quite sure what's going to happen, right?
That too.
Yes.
I'm like, is it witchcraft? What is it? No, it's not at all. It is completely with love, and with, I personally call him for Archangel Michael.
Okay.
And there's different deities that will always, step in. Archangel Raphael for healing. Big time fan. And these are just like the Christian mindset. I also like, there's Shiva and Krishna and like Ganesh. There's a multitude of different deities out there. They're all from the same place.
Exactly.
And they're all there to assist. You just have to ask for it. And I didn't realize that. So it's just getting into I get into a very grateful space, my heart space. Just to kind of like raise my vibration. So it's not like sad and fearful and full of grief and pain and sorrow. I just bring it back up and just really focus on like laughter, like here, especially a child's laughter. I don't care whose child it is. Like
innocence, right?
Yes.
Yes.
It's just pure, or like the sound of stepping on crunchy leaves. Just anything that like really brings me to like the present happy moment. I get there and I visualize that cord with the other person, and I do call in assistance. I go through actually my guardian angel, and I outsource, and I have them call in, the ascendants, my ascended masters and angels, archangels, and they come down and cut that cord, and not only will they help cut that, but I will typically envision my hands full of Reiki energy, because your hands get really hot. And I'll hold that cord until it dissolves from the heat of my own hand. So I actually use the universal life, the healing, and I do send them off with love and appreciation. Yeah, I think of it this way, like a thank you for leaving.
Yeah.
That's my mindset.
Don't let
Yeah,
I think there's a book called that or something.
Are you
like that.
serious?
I have something like that upstairs. I can't remember that's the name, but like, thank you for. It's something like that. Like
Nice. I
you know,
appreciate
because
that.
They taught us lessons, and it's like
Yeah.
thank
Yes.
you for going.
That's
Yeah.
it right there. They
Yeah.
taught us lessons.
Yeah.
And-
I agree.
And nothing changed like with that relationship with my mom that first time. It actually got better, and it continues to get better. And I just realized,
Oh, God.
man, for every person you interact with a day, a cord will grow. But it's very, very, very concentrated cord with family members or anyone that it's linked to. Maybe you're somebody you're married to or had a relationship with for a long time. Doesn't matter. Like those ones are they're a little bit thicker, so they can regrow more.
Wow. Thank you.
Yeah. Do you want next?
Well, I was just we did have a question here, Emily. So you talked about a 4-part process you underwent and are currently trying to transmute anger, which was a surprise for you to discover that you were holding on to.
Yeah, I had no idea I was angry because I'm a very upbeat person. I didn't realize I was upbeat because I needed other people to be upbeat because I was safe. So I was like, holy shit, I'm actually angry.
I am pissed off.
I am, the patriarchy, damn the man. And even on the driveway on the highway, I'm like, mother truckers, use your blinker. You know?
Dusty, I think it's that guy that does all the animal videos. He's always going, mother fluffer.
Mother fluffer, I like that. I usually do trucker, but I don't know why. Pardon me. With that anger, I come to realize that I really do have. It's given me a chance to acknowledge and honor my shadow work too, and I didn't know what that word even meant, so it helped me realize my triggers. And so when I see people now and they're not using their directional lane on the highway, I'm like, oh, it bothers me because I'm not sitting down, which I do now, and in the morning I have my intention written out, and I talk to my guardian angel and my spirit team and my ancestors, and like, this is where I want my life to go right now today. And this is where I expect it to go because I'm in alignment. I wasn't doing that. I wasn't taking the time to really just like sink in, and that's why it bothers me when people don't use their blinker. I'm like, oh, they're not letting other people know where they're going in life.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that to my spirit team and the God within me.
Okay.
I was like, holy shit. And then I'm like, okay, well, why am I so upset about people not parking in the parking spot? So like when I talk about anger, it's not like anger, it's like these little tiny
Little
things,
things.
but like, oh
Yes.
my
Little
gosh,
tiny triggers everywhere.
they're tiny, but like in me, I was just like rage.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I was
Disproportionate to the
Yeah.
offense.
unbelievably.
Yeah.
I think it's INFJ trait too, where we are very good
Yeah.
in a crisis. Like we can handle anything.
Yeah.
It's absolutely gonna be fine. But like
100%.
a little tiny thing, it's like the world
Yeah,
ending.
after that, after you're done dealing with that crisis situation, one little thing can.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you're right. We're all 3 INFJs, by the way.
Yes.
Yes.
Represent.
Yes, we are representing.
Well, we expect fairness too. So
Yes. So the justice.
yes,
the justice
part.
Oh my gosh! It's just if there's any type of injustice, again, that rage would just
Yes, I totally
fume
relate.
out me. Like, are you? How would there be any possible thought of like? I still to this day I have a hard time.
I think just our personality traits being that we all have a hard time with that. I think.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Why would you hurt anything?
Anyone, yeah, or anything.
Yeah.
I think because it's not fair.
Yeah.
It's frustrates.
And then I go dive deep. I'm like, oh, they're hurting other people because they're hurting on the inside. And, oh, I can rationalize it, but
Yeah.
that first like quick bit, I'm like, oh my gosh, I could just blow steam out my ears.
Yeah. You know, I just have to tell you guys a funny little story. Speaking of road rage, so I have a new, probably in the last couple years, way of coping with people because I have to drive to Appleton from Pulaski 3 days a week for work, and I'm not the best about getting out the door like when I should, right? I'm always running a little late, so I get a bit pissed off when I'm on 32, which is, how you get to 29, which then I can pass everybody, right, that I need to. But 29 is only 2 lanes, or 32 is only 2 lanes. So now when somebody's going 5 under the speed limit and I can't pass because I have all this school traffic coming into town.
Oh.
I'm like, oh, thank you. You're just keeping me from getting a speeding ticket.
Yeah.
All the time. This guy's keeping me from getting a speeding ticket.
Or-
I've just
Or-
transmuted that. Like I literally, and it's true. They really are, because I
Or an
can
accident.
pass and get a,
Or you're in an accident, yeah.
yeah.
And I always go back to 9/11.
Yes.
All the stories you heard from people that were either called in sick that day or were running late.
Do you hear about the guy that was like stopped to get a Band-Aid? Did you hear about that one?
No.
He had like was getting a blister on the back of his heel,
Okay.
and which has never happened before. I never had problems with his shoes, but this day he had a random blister on the back of his heel, and he stopped at a bodega on the way
Wow.
to get a Band-Aid.
Incredible.
So instead of getting mad, like, why do I have this blister? Like, ow, pain. Oh, that was, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for this blister.
Wow.
But I kind of do the same thing too. Like sometimes I get frustrated if I don't get out the door in time, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm at least doing the speed limit, and if they weren't there, I would be probably speeding 5, 10 over, and then
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
it's always me that would get pulled over. No one else would fly by me.
Yeah, yeah. I got pulled over recently, but by the way, but
Take it offline.
yeah, it was for my seatbelt.
Oh.
And so I'm like, oh,
Look at
so
our ticket day.
it was, it's all lessons. So even like and you're doing a great job transmuting, like the whole, your anger, like, you know,
Yeah.
because it is true.
Yes.
But it's also like that shadow work, like, don't rush yourself to get out, like, or maybe time management or something, like, I don't know. There's something a little bit more of that, but I do love and appreciate like that transmutation, because it's just that simple mindset, and because there's all these certain things out there trying to lower our frequency.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
we gotta
Absolutely.
keep that up.
Yeah. Thank you.
But the 4-part process, I mean, that for my anger to try to deal with it, it's super simple. Like for my process, anyways, it's Reiki. You know, like obviously it's my lifesaver. Ho'oponopono.
Which you might want to explain.
I want Bobby to explain it.
Oh yes, Bobby would be great. To
I would
explain.
not know of Ho'oponopono without this magnificent angel.
Well, there's more to the story, but it's a simple phrase. It's I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And we're not just talking about saying that to other people. You have to put that to yourself first.
Oh my gosh.
And it's a Hawaiian.
It's a Hawaiian phrase, and
practice.
so I love the backstory that you gave me because I knew it came from Hawaii, but I didn't realize.
An infinite world of possibilities.
Yes. So I just recently took a course on it, and it's because you have to heal yourself first before you can heal other people, and that's the hardest. And we're always healing, so we're always working on ourselves and helping other people, because we all have the ability to heal ourselves. We're just as practitioners, we're just trying to show them how. And giving them the tools to do it. So I love that, and that's another phrase. I say the Reiki principles every morning, and then I say the Ho'oponopono every morning.
I do.
Or Susie says a whole pony.
Oh, I love her. That's why I have because to honor symbols and phrases, I actually have it's JFT, and there's a B on here. So like just for today,
I love that.
B. So just for today, just be, and then I remember, I can just be me, it's okay. Oh, just for today, and then I do my Reiki principles.
And that's what I love about, and for people who aren't familiar with the Reiki principles, there's 5 of them, and they start with just for today. And the reason we do that is because yesterday's gone, it's over. You can't really control tomorrow. What you have is right now, and so just for today. And it's okay if you can't. One of the principles are just for today. I will not be angry. And 5 minutes later, something may set you off, right?
Oh yeah.
But that's where you bring in the whole Ho'oponopono. Like I forgive myself for that. It's okay. I'm human, and I'm learning those lessons. So yeah, they really go hand in hand. And one of the meditations I did, this was a couple years ago, when Runic first opened, was combining the Reiki principles with Ho'oponopono and how they each fit into each other, and it was so good. I don't know if I saved that or not. But
that sounds wonderful.
That one changed my life.
Yeah, I love it.
Okay, so that's number 2.
Yeah, that's 2.
That's 2.
Just keeping track.
Music. That's like, I think that would have been like my first one. I didn't realize I was going to music very much. even before all this, I would go to music. I remember having like being in the middle of my cyst bursting. I don't know if you ever had an ovarian cyst. It's extremely painful.
I've had friends who've had it.
Yes, I
I've
have
heard
too.
of it, but I've never had it. But yeah.
It's outrageous pain. It doesn't last. It's like an hour, maybe hour and a half. But it's outrageous pain. And I would just put on music and just go get through it just with music. I'm like, oh, okay. So if this can help with my physical pain, it can also help with my anger. And there's a very specific. Well, it's frequency within not only the notes but the words being spoken. There's a very specific band that just is just as influential to my life and my healing as Reiki is, and it's a band called Nako Medicine for the People. And any person it will change your life. It is medicine for the people, for all people. It's incredible.
Are they like local or?
No, I want to see, where is he from? He's a different tribal member. At first I thought he was Hawaiian, from Hawaii, but not from here at all. I want to say maybe they originated from California.
Okay.
But and maybe there's some Hawaiian members, or maybe he lived there for a while. I don't know the whole backstory. I just know the music, and I just know the music, and that is an everyday thing that
That's awesome.
I love that.
very
I'm
much.
gonna look that up.
I know, right? Write that down before she leaves.
It's just monument. And I come from a very, very musical family. Music is very thick in my lineage. So if I'm given so much, it's huge. So that's 3. And then the 4th one, it's I do art.
She's very talented. I love this.
This is what I hear.
She's really creative.
Art therapy.
Yeah.
So if I just sit with something and I don't know necessarily what I'm going to go with for my art therapy, or why, it's typically anger, but sometimes it's like pain or sadness. And then once I'm done with the piece, then I realize, oh, this is what it means. This is this, and it's not just like a painting. It's all sorts of different stuff that I do. Currently
Different mediums, you mean? Art mediums?
I took a globe. This is actually a really cool piece, but the big,
like a globe,
like a school globe, or whatever.
Yeah.
And I took a soldering thing and I just burned out like a chunk of it, like someone just ripped off the side of it. And on the inside it's all moss, and I have different bark I picked up
You
naturally.
pictured that on Facebook, didn't you?
No, this
No,
is
this is different.
this
Okay.
is a secret project.
Okay.
And there's
Cool. I like
bark
that.
on the inside for the second layer.
Okay.
There's a gazebo in it, and it's to represent that not everything is as it seems, and sometimes there is a world within the world. So there's a different world within inside you. So it was me going deeper into myself. It's this particular piece. It's really cool, by the way, though. It's got fairy lights on the inside.
It sounds very cool.
It's got little miniature hose and rakes and a little watering can. And
Oh my gosh, I love
Are you
it.
gonna show it at some point?
At some point, yeah.
Okay. I can't wait to see
But I
it.
do all sorts of different things. So painting and creations and art therapy is a real thing, and usually it is stemmed from rage or anger. And sometimes I'm even angry about being sad, or I'm angry about being angry, and that goes back to for clearing that is Ho'oponopono is for me. That's what works for me in those circumstances. But the combo of those 4 help me transform or transmute as much as I can right now with my
I think
anger.
that's amazing, and I think that's
You
really
channel that
helpful.
energy, right? For anyone listening, a
listening.
positive way to channel that.
Yeah, because
Negative energy, I guess.
sometimes you just want to be damn the man, but even if you could, that doesn't really solve what's happening on the inside.
Yeah, right.
And to get to that inside part, you gotta fix your own shit. As you were saying before, to be a good healer, you have to keep healing. And what I like to say is a better me is a better we.
That's good.
So, but if everyone thought that way,
How amazing it would be, right?
it will
Yes.
be. It
Alright.
will
Yeah.
be.
Well, there you go.
Gosh darn it. We're trendsetters here.
Right?
Pave the way.
We are.
We are.
I Thank you.
So, yeah, so it kind of brings us to current day and your journey, and anything else that we haven't covered, like that your other tools in your tool belt that you're using to.
Yeah, I mean, I did the journaling, but for the metaphysical side, would also help me because I'm like, oh, is it really just 4? No, but those are yeah. That girl is endless. My toolbox is very vast. A big one that helps was finding hypnosis, which also led me like the QHHT, quantum healing hypnosis therapy. I found Dolores Cannon before I found out even what hypnosis was. I don't even know how that came about in my life. I had a lot of, during that time with that cardinal, my ears were ringing constantly for like 6 years, or it could be that. It could also be in infinite world possibilities, getting downloads and messages from ancestors and spirit guides that my mind and hearing can't comprehend, and it kind of amping up my vibration, because then we get to a higher vibration of peace, love, harmony, just like what we would think heaven would be like enveloping us, with. Get to as close as possible. You can actually tap into what's called the Akashic records, and there's different ways to get to it too. This is how I've been taught, and with a simple prayer, because words have vibrations, thoughts too. And accessing those records, and getting the perspective and wisdom from the record keepers is what also helped me transmute and understand a lot. So you can also like do the hypnosis, or you can dive further into.
Did you do a class on that?
Yeah. Yeah, I did a
You
course.
taught a class on it?
I spoke on it.
Okay.
I wouldn't say I taught it.
Well,
or
no, but
Yeah.
you held a class and trying to.
I held a gathering of words. That's all it was.
But I love that, and I remember when you were first going through that, when you were first learning it.
See, I got obsessed. That was my rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But Edgar Casey started that. I mean, it goes back further, but 20th century. He's known as the sleeping prophet.
Yeah.
If you're familiar, and that really just dives in. If you do you ever have a client under hypnosis that have accessed the records yet?
Mm-mm.
Not yet. That's I've read a couple books with Dolores.
Yeah, I've got some. I'm taking on vacation when I go along in July for the celebration of life for my uncle. I'm taking a couple of Dolores books with me. So.
Oh, blast! I've read every single one of her books 3 times.
Yeah.
3 times each. She's got
That's amazing. How much?
17 books.
Yeah, she's got a lot. I think I have 8, maybe.
I'm a rabbit hole pro.
Yes,
I just
you
wanna be-
are.
I think it's because it's my trauma response, because I want to be very thorough
Yeah.
on my questions on why.
Everything is why for me.
Why?
But it's almost like they teach you to, like, when you're in the corporate world or when you're at work, you keep going down why, to get to the actual reason.
In the corporate world, though, they tell you to, all right, enough of that.
Well, see where I was, it was like always keep going why,
Okay.
until you got to it. But I think
Yeah.
every company is different.
Yeah.
But even on her personal life, like you had mentioned and said, it was perfect. Like on the surface, it makes you seem like, oh, I got this generic answer, but keep drilling down.
Yeah.
And get to the
Yeah.
core.
You really do, because it's not just like a chronic illness or tinnitus or arthritis or what have you, dementia even. Like there is something correlated with our physical ailments to a trauma response, and it might not even be our own trauma. It could be, again, a different world of possibilities, a different time, like different lifetime,
Yep.
or epigenetics, where it's passed down through our DNA from our ancestors, from like our, and it's passed down through the feminine line. So mothers, grandmothers, great grandmothers, and then on the father's side, it's not the father's trauma, but his mother and his mother's mother, and so it's not not so much the male, which is surprised me.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
It is interesting.
Wow.
This isn't even a summary, you guys. This is just a quick little blip into the life of Emily.
It's been wonderful.
Yeah.
It's been fantastic, and we are so happy and honored again that you decided to do this with us.
I guess one last, any last words or advice for people listening that may be struggling or going through something similar, or any last words of wisdom, I guess.
Oh, words of wisdom. I don't know if I'm good at words of wisdom on the spot. If I just am like rambling, they come out really good because I don't realize I'm doing it. But I would just know that if you're not broken completely, you can keep going. And to be broken completely means you're dead, and you're not dead. And you're not dead for a reason. So just keep going, because there is magic out there, and it's not just in the movies. That shit is real. Pardon my French. That shit's real, and there's also inside you. And if you just keep going, this script will get flipped, and you have that ability to do it. Because if I can do it and I can get sober doing it, literally anyone can do it. And that would be my big thing, is even if you're self-medicating, there's nothing wrong with that. I'd rather see a drink in your hand than a gun in your mouth. So if that's what you gotta do to get by, do it. But just know you can pick things up and you can set things down. And there's other tools out there that will amplify the betterment of your life.
Those are good words.
Yeah.
Thank you, Emily.
Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah.
We appreciated the time. And
Thank you for joining
thank
us.
you for joining us. And we'll put I'd love to put that band or the music.
Oh my
we'll put that
Oh,
in the links.
that'd be
And
Oh,
some
my
of the
heart.
things. Yes.
Thank you.
I'd like to have the information that people can, take with them and go look up. So to help them along the way.
absolutely.
So we thank you for joining us, and stay tuned for the next one.